66 million years ago, a mountain-sized asteroid slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula, unleashing energy equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. Within hours, the planet transformed. Yet for 165 million years before that catastrophic moment, dinosaurs ruled every continent, evolving into thousands of species ranging from chicken-sized predators to 100-ton giants that shook the ground with each step. How did creatures so dominant vanish so completely? Why did some dinosaurs develop feathers millions of years before birds took flight? What made a Tyrannosaurus rex's bite force reach 12,800 pounds, strong enough to crush a car? Modern paleontology has shattered Victorian-era assumptions about sluggish, dim-witted reptiles, revealing instead a world of complex social structures, nurturing parents and animals that may have seen in colors we can't imagine. The more scientists uncover, the stranger and more fascinating these ancient giants become. Settle in as we explore the evidence-based mysteries that continue to reshape our understanding of Earth's most successful land animals. Long before the world knew the thunder of Tyrannosaurus rex or the towering presence of Brachiosaurus, the stage for the age of dinosaurs was set by a series of cataclysms and unlikely survivors. The story begins in the late Permian period, around 252 million years ago, when Earth was a single supercontinent called Pangaea. Life teetered on the brink. The Permian Triassic extinction event, the most severe in our planet's history, wiped out roughly 90% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates. The cause? A combination of massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia, runaway climate change, and ocean anoxia, conditions so dire that only the hardiest creatures endured. Among the survivors were small, agile reptiles known as archosaurs. The name archosaur means ruling lizard, and it's fitting. This group would eventually give rise to crocodiles, pterosaurs, and most notably, dinosaurs. But in the earliest days of the Triassic, archosaurs were just one of several groups vying for dominance in a world still reeling from disaster. The landscape was harsh, hot, dry, and unpredictable. Yet these conditions favored adaptability, and archosaurs possessed a key advantage: upright posture. Unlike the sprawling gait of earlier reptiles, archosaurs' legs were positioned directly beneath their bodies, allowing for more efficient movement and breathing. This seemingly simple anatomical shift would prove revolutionary. By around 245 million years ago, the first true dinosaurs began to emerge. But what exactly defines a dinosaur? Paleontologists point to a suite of skeletal features, including an open hip socket and a particular arrangement of limb bones, that distinguish dinosaurs from their close relatives. The earliest known dinosaurs were small, bipedal predators and omnivores, far from the giants that would later dominate. Fossils like Eoraptor, discovered in Argentina's Ischigualasto Formation and dating to about 231 million years ago, offer a glimpse into this formative era. Eoraptor was roughly the size of a dog, with a lightweight frame and sharp teeth suited for a varied diet. Alongside it lived Herrerasaurus, another early dinosaur from the same region, which grew up to 6 meters long and likely hunted other reptiles. Why did dinosaurs succeed where so many others failed? Part of the answer lies in their rapid growth rates and efficient respiratory systems, which may have given them an edge in the fluctuating Triassic climate. Their eggs, laid in nests, allowed for greater reproductive flexibility, and as Pangaea began to break apart, new ecological niches opened up, providing opportunities for diversification. Within a few million years, dinosaurs had spread across the globe, from what is now South America to Europe, Africa, and beyond. But the early dinosaur world was not yet dominated by the familiar giants. Instead, it was a realm of experimentation, with a remarkable variety of forms and lifestyles. Some, like Colophysis from North America, were slender, fast-moving hunters. Others, such as Plateosaurus from Europe, were among the first large herbivores, reaching lengths of up to 10 meters. The evolutionary tree of dinosaurs was already branching in multiple directions, setting the stage for the spectacular diversity to come. What drove this burst of innovation? Was it the aftermath of extinction, the shifting continents, or the relentless pressure to adapt? The fossil record offers tantalizing clues, but many questions remain. What is clear is that the Triassic period was a crucible, a time when the foundations of the dinosaur dynasty were forged in the fires of survival and change. The Triassic world was a place of extremes. The supercontinent Pangaea stretched nearly pole to pole, creating vast deserts and unpredictable climates. Rainfall was seasonal and often scarce, and temperatures could swing dramatically between day and night. In this challenging environment, adaptability was key. Early dinosaurs, with their lightweight skeletons and efficient movement, were well suited to these conditions. Their bones were often hollow, reducing weight without sacrificing strength, a trait that would later be crucial for the evolution of gigantic forms and, eventually, flight in their descendants. But what did these first dinosaurs actually look like? For decades, reconstructions were based on fragmentary fossils and a fair amount of educated guesswork. The discovery of nearly complete skeletons in South America changed that. Eoraptor, for example, was a small bipedal animal with a long tail for balance and hands capable of grasping prey. Its teeth were serrated, suggesting a diet of small vertebrates and possibly insects. Herrerasaurus, larger and more robust, had powerful hind limbs and a flexible jaw, making it a formidable predator in its ecosystem. Other early dinosaurs, such as Staurikosaurus and Saturnalia, show a similar mix of primitive and derived features. These animals were not the lumbering, cold-blooded reptiles once imagined by early paleontologists. Instead, they were agile, alert, and likely warm-blooded to some degree. Their rapid growth rates, inferred from bone histology, the microscopic structure of fossilized bone, suggest a metabolism closer to that of modern birds than to reptiles. The split between Saurischians and Ornithischians is one of the most important events in dinosaur evolution. Saurischians, with their lizard-like hips, included both the long-necked sauropodomorphs and the carnivorous theropods. Ornithischians, with their bird-like hips, were exclusively herbivorous and would later evolve into some of the most recognizable dinosaurs, such as Triceratops and Stegosaurus. This division is not just anatomical, it reflects deep differences in diet, behavior, and ecological roles. Why did dinosaurs succeed where so many others failed? One clue comes from their reproductive strategies. Fossilized nests and eggs from later periods show that some dinosaurs laid large clutches and may have cared for their young. This parental investment, rare among reptiles, could have increased survival rates in unpredictable environments. Additionally, their upright posture and active lifestyles allowed them to exploit new food sources and habitats. The end Triassic extinction, about 201 million years ago, was a turning point. Massive volcanic eruptions in what is now the Central Atlantic magmatic province released huge amounts of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, leading to rapid climate change and ocean acidification. Many dominant reptile groups disappeared, but dinosaurs survived and quickly diversified. Within a few million years, they occupied every major terrestrial niche, from small, fleet-footed hunters to massive, long-necked browsers. Recent discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of this pivotal era. In India, fossils of early sauropodomorphs like Isosaurus suggest that dinosaurs were already experimenting with large body sizes by the late Triassic. In Europe, the discovery of Plateosaurus, a robust herbivore, shows that dinosaurs were spreading across the northern continents as well. These finds underscore the global reach and adaptability of early dinosaurs. The Triassic period ended with a world transformed. Dinosaurs, once minor players, had become the dominant terrestrial vertebrates. Their success set the stage for the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, when they would reach their greatest diversity and size. But the story of their rise is not just about survival. It's about innovation, adaptability, and the relentless push of evolution in a world that was anything but stable. As the Triassic period drew to a close, the evolutionary groundwork for the age of dinosaurs was firmly in place. The fossil record, though incomplete, offers tantalizing glimpses into the lives of these pioneering animals. In the Ishigualasto Formation, layers of volcanic ash have preserved not only bones but also footprints, coprolites, fossilized dung, and even hints of ancient vegetation. These clues allow scientists to reconstruct the ecosystems in which early dinosaurs lived, a mosaic of river valleys, floodplains, and forests teeming with life. One of the most remarkable aspects of early dinosaur evolution is their rapid diversification. Within just a few million years, dinosaurs evolved into a wide array of forms, each adapted to specific ecological roles. Some, like the small, nimble Coelophysis from North America, were swift predators, hunting in packs and using their agility to outmaneuver prey. Others, such as the robust Plateosaurus from Europe, were among the first large herbivores, feeding on tough vegetation and possibly migrating in herds to find food. The global spread of dinosaurs during the late Triassic is a testament to their adaptability. Fossils from Africa, India, and even Antarctica show that dinosaurs were not confined to a single region, but were able to thrive in diverse environments. This widespread distribution was facilitated by the supercontinent Pangaea, which allowed animals to move freely across vast distances. As the continents slowly began to drift apart, dinosaurs would continue to evolve in isolation, leading to the incredible diversity seen in later periods. But the rise of dinosaurs was not without challenges. The end Triassic extinction event, triggered by massive volcanic eruptions, brought dramatic changes to the planet's climate and ecosystems. Many groups of reptiles, including the dominant phytosaurs and Rauisuchians, disappeared. Dinosaurs, however, survived and quickly filled the vacant niches. This ability to adapt and radiate into new environments was a key factor in their long-term success. Paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils that shed light on this critical period. In recent years, advanced technologies such as CT scanning and isotopic analysis have allowed scientists to study the internal structure of bones and teeth, revealing details about growth rates, metabolism, and even diet. These studies suggest that early dinosaurs were more active and complex than previously thought, with some species exhibiting rapid growth and high metabolic rates. The legacy of the Triassic dinosaurs is profound. Their evolutionary innovations, upright posture, efficient lungs, parental care, and rapid growth set the stage for the spectacular diversity that would follow. From the towering sauropods of the Jurassic to the feathered raptors of the Cretaceous, every major group of dinosaurs can trace its origins to these early pioneers. As we move forward in this documentary, the story of dinosaur evolution will continue to unfold, revealing not just the triumphs of these ancient animals, but also the challenges they faced and the mysteries that remain. The Triassic period may be less famous than the eras that followed, but it was here, in a world recovering from catastrophe, that the giants first walked and changed the course of life on Earth forever. 66 million years ago, a single event changed the trajectory of life on Earth. The extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs marks one of the most dramatic turning points in the planet's history, but the question of what exactly caused their sudden disappearance has fueled scientific debate for decades. Was it a cosmic catastrophe, a slow environmental decline, or a deadly combination of both? The search for answers has led scientists from the depths of the Gulf of Mexico to the volcanic plains of India, piecing together clues from rocks, fossils, and chemical signatures that span the globe. The most widely recognized explanation for the dinosaurs' extinction is the asteroid impact hypothesis. In 1980, a team led by physicist Luis Alvarez and his son, geologist Walter Alvarez, discovered a thin layer of clay rich in iridium, a rare element on Earth but common in asteroids, at the boundary between the Cretaceous and Paleogene periods. This KP boundary layer, found at sites around the world, suggested that a massive extraterrestrial object struck the planet at the end of the Cretaceous, unleashing devastation on a global scale. But where did this impact occur? The answer came in 1991, when geologists identified the Chicxulub crater buried beneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. Measuring over 180 kilometers in diameter and more than 20 kilometers deep, the crater is evidence of an impactor estimated to be 10 to 15 kilometers wide. The energy released by the collision would have been equivalent to billions of nuclear bombs, vaporizing rock, igniting wildfires, and sending a cloud of dust and debris into the atmosphere that blocked sunlight for months or even years. The consequences for life were catastrophic. Photosynthesis ground to a halt, collapsing food chains both on land and in the oceans. Temperatures plummeted in a phenomenon known as impact winter, and acid rain further stressed already vulnerable ecosystems. Within a relatively short period, possibly just a few years, up to 75% of all species on Earth vanished, including all non-avian dinosaurs, large marine reptiles, and many forms of plankton that form the base of the oceanic food web. Yet, the asteroid impact is not the only suspect in this mass extinction. Around the same time, a series of colossal volcanic eruptions was reshaping the landscape of what is now Western India. The Deccan Traps, a vast region of layered basalt flows, were formed by eruptions that released enormous quantities of lava, ash, and gases into the atmosphere. These eruptions, which may have lasted for hundreds of thousands of years, pumped carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide into the air, driving climate change, acidifying oceans, and further stressing ecosystems already on the brink. The debate over which catastrophe played the dominant role has been fierce. Some scientists argue that the Deccan Traps eruptions began before the asteroid impact and set the stage for extinction by gradually altering the climate and weakening ecosystems. Others maintain that the impact was the decisive blow, with the timing of the Chicxulub event matching precisely with the disappearance of the dinosaurs in the fossil record. Still others suggest a deadly synergy. The combined effects of volcanic activity and asteroid impact created a one-two punch that no large animal could survive. How do scientists untangle these overlapping disasters? The answer lies in the rocks themselves. By analyzing layers of sediment from around the world, researchers can track changes in temperature, ocean chemistry, and the abundance of key elements like iridium. Fossil evidence reveals a sudden drop in diversity at the KPG boundary, with many species disappearing abruptly rather than gradually. In some locations, layers of glassy spherules, tiny droplets of molten rock formed by the impact, are found directly above the last dinosaur fossils, providing a direct link between the asteroid and the extinction event. The evidence for a sudden, catastrophic event at the end of the Cretaceous is compelling, but the story is far from simple. As scientists have examined the KPG boundary in greater detail, they've uncovered a complex tapestry of environmental changes that began well before the asteroid struck. For example, fossil pollen and plant remains show that some regions were already experiencing ecological stress, with declining diversity and shifts in dominant species. In the oceans, certain groups of plankton and mollusks were in decline, possibly due to changing temperatures and ocean chemistry linked to volcanic activity. The Deccan Traps eruptions, which began hundreds of thousands of years before the impact, released vast amounts of greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide from the eruptions would have warmed the planet, while sulfur dioxide could have caused short-term cooling and acid rain. These rapid swings in climate would have placed enormous pressure on ecosystems, making them more vulnerable to additional shocks. Some studies suggest that the timing of the most intense volcanic activity coincides closely with the extinction event, raising the possibility that the eruptions and the impact work together to push life past a tipping point. But how do we know the exact timing of these events? Advances in radiometric dating have allowed scientists to pinpoint the ages of volcanic rocks and impact-related materials with remarkable precision. By measuring the decay of isotopes such as argon-40 and uranium-238, researchers can determine when the Deccan Traps. The fossil record provides further clues. In North America, the Hell Creek Formation preserves a detailed sequence of rocks spanning the last few million years of the Cretaceous. Here, paleontologists have documented a rich diversity of dinosaurs, mammals, and plants right up to the KPG boundary, followed by a sudden and dramatic drop in species. The last dinosaur fossils are found just below a thin layer of clay rich in iridium and shocked quartz, minerals formed under the extreme pressures of an impact. Above this layer, the world is transformed. Ferns and other pioneer plants dominate, and mammals begin to diversify in the absence of their giant competitors. Elsewhere, similar patterns emerge. In Europe, Asia, and South America, the fossil record shows a sharp break at the KPG boundary, with many groups disappearing abruptly. In the oceans, the extinction of planktonic foraminifera, a group of tiny shelled organisms, marks a major collapse in marine food webs. These patterns are consistent with a sudden global catastrophe rather than a slow, gradual decline. Yet, some mysteries remain. Why did some groups survive while others perished? Birds, the only living descendants of dinosaurs, made it through the extinction, as did crocodiles, turtles, and many small mammals. One hypothesis is that smaller animals with more flexible diets and behaviors were better able to cope with the rapid environmental changes. Burrowing, hibernation, and the ability to eat a wide range of foods may have provided crucial advantages in a world turned upside down. The debate over the relative roles of the asteroid impact and volcanic eruptions continues, but most scientists now agree that both played significant parts. The impact delivered a devastating blow, but the stage may have been set by years of volcanic upheaval and climate instability. The extinction of the dinosaurs was not the result of a single cause, but a convergence of catastrophic events that reshaped life on Earth. The aftermath of the end Cretaceous extinction was both devastating and transformative. In the immediate wake of the catastrophe, Earth's ecosystems were nearly unrecognizable. Forests gave way to fern prairies, a phenomenon known as the fern spike, as these hardy plants rapidly colonized the barren landscape. The fossil record shows a dramatic reduction in both the size and diversity of animals, with large-bodied species especially hard hit. For millions of years, the world was dominated by small, opportunistic survivors. But extinction is not just an end. It is also a beginning. With the disappearance of the non-avian dinosaurs and many other dominant groups, ecological niches were left vacant. Mammals, which had lived in the shadow of dinosaurs for over 100 million years, began to diversify and radiate into new forms. Within a few million years, the ancestors of modern primates, whales, and even bats appeared, setting the stage for the rise of mammals as the planet's dominant land animals. The legacy of the extinction event is still visible today. The iridium-rich layer marking the KPG boundary can be found on every continent, a silent witness to the day the world changed. The Chicxulub crater, though buried beneath layers of sediment, has been mapped in detail using seismic imaging, revealing the immense scale of the impact. In India, the Deccan Traps remain one of the largest volcanic features on Earth, a testament to the power of the forces that shaped the end of the Mesozoic. Scientific understanding of the extinction event continues to evolve. In recent years, new discoveries have added nuance to the story. For example, some researchers have found evidence of rapid ecosystem recovery in certain regions, with forests and animal communities rebounding within a few 100,000 years. Others have identified refugia, areas where some species survived the worst effects of the catastrophe, only to disappear later as conditions continued to change. The extinction of the dinosaurs is a powerful reminder of the fragility and resilience of life. It highlights the interconnectedness of Earth's systems, how a single event, whether from space or deep within the planet, can ripple across the globe and alter the course of evolution. It also underscores the importance of scientific inquiry, as each new discovery brings us closer to understanding not just how the dinosaurs died, but how life itself endures in the face of unimaginable change. As we move forward, the mysteries of the extinction event continue to inspire research and debate. Was it the asteroid, the volcanoes, or both? How did some species survive while others vanished forever? And what lessons can we draw from this ancient catastrophe as we confront environmental challenges in our own time? The answers, as always, lie in the rocks, the fossils, and the relentless curiosity of those who seek to understand the deep history of our planet. For much of the 20th century, dinosaurs were depicted as scaly, reptilian giants, creatures more akin to lizards than to anything alive today. But in the late 1990s, a series of fossil discoveries in northeastern China upended this image and forced scientists to rethink what dinosaurs looked like, how they lived, and even how they evolved. The revelation. Feathers, once thought to be the exclusive domain of birds, were present in a surprising array of dinosaur species, millions of years before the first true bird ever took flight. The story begins in the Liaoning province of China, where fine-grained volcanic ash has preserved fossils in extraordinary detail. In 1996, paleontologists announced the discovery of Sinosauropteryx, a small bipedal theropod dinosaur from the early Cretaceous period. What set Sinosauropteryx apart was not its size or its teeth, but the halo of filamentous structures surrounding its skeleton. These filaments, interpreted as primitive feathers, were the first direct evidence that some dinosaurs wore coats of fuzz rather than scales. The implications were profound. If Sinosauropteryx had feathers, could other, more famous dinosaurs have had them too? Subsequent discoveries quickly answered that question. Fossils of dromaeosaurs, raptor-like predators such as Velociraptor and Microraptor, revealed not just simple filaments, but complex branching feathers nearly identical to those of modern birds. Some specimens even preserved evidence of color, patterns, with bands and spots hinting at a world far more vibrant than the drab, greenish-brown reconstructions of the past. But why did dinosaurs evolve feathers in the first place? The answer, it turns out, is not as simple as flight. Many feathered dinosaurs were too large or too heavy to fly, and some, like the early tyrannosauroids, were ground-dwelling predators. Instead, feathers likely evolved for other reasons: insulation, display, and perhaps even camouflage. In the chilly climates of the Jurassic and Cretaceous, a coat of feathers would have helped small dinosaurs retain body heat, much like the downy plumage of modern chicks. Brightly colored feathers could have played a role in attracting mates or intimidating rivals, while subtle patterns might have helped predators and prey blend into their surroundings. The fossil beds of Liaoning have yielded a treasure trove of feathered dinosaurs, each adding a new piece to the puzzle. Caudipteryx, a peacock-sized omnivore, sported symmetrical feathers on its tail and arms, suggesting a role in display rather than flight. Beipiaosaurus, a bizarre, long-clawed herbivore, had a shaggy coat of filamentous feathers covering its body. Even some oviraptorosaurs, once thought to be egg thieves, were found brooding their nests, their feathered arms spread protectively over their eggs, in a pose strikingly similar to modern birds. The discovery of feathered dinosaurs in China did more than just change our image of these ancient animals. It revolutionized our understanding of how feathers themselves evolved. For decades, feathers were considered a defining feature of birds, used primarily for flight. But the Liaoning fossils revealed a more complex story. Feathers appeared in a wide range of forms, from simple, hair-like filaments to complex, veined structures nearly indistinguishable from those of modern birds. This diversity suggests that feathers evolved in stages, each serving different functions long before flight became possible. Paleontologists now recognize several types of feather-like structures in dinosaurs. The simplest are single filaments, sometimes called dino fuzz, which likely provided insulation. More advanced forms include tufts and branched filaments, which could have been used for display or species recognition. The most complex feathers, with a central shaft and interlocking barbs, are seen in both non-avian dinosaurs and early birds like Archaeopteryx. These feathers are strong and flexible, ideal for flight but also useful for other purposes such as brooding eggs or signaling to other members of the species. One of the most remarkable discoveries from Liaoning is Microraptor, a small four-winged dinosaur with long feathers on both its arms and legs. Microraptor's anatomy suggests it was capable of gliding between trees, using its feathered limbs to control its descent. This finding supports the idea that flight in birds may have evolved from tree-dwelling ancestors that first mastered gliding, rather than from ground-dwelling runners. The presence of asymmetrical flight feathers, those with a distinct leading and trailing edge, further indicates that some non-avian dinosaurs were experimenting with aerial locomotion millions of years before the first true birds appeared, but feathers were not limited to small tree-dwelling species. Fossils of Eutyrannus, a relative of Tyrannosaurus rex, show that even large-bodied theropods could be covered in a thick coat of filaments. At nearly 9 meters long, Eutyrannus is the largest known dinosaur with direct evidence of feathers. Its discovery suggests that insulation was important for dinosaurs living in cooler climates, and that the evolution of feathers was not restricted by body size. The preservation of feathers in the fossil record is a rare and remarkable phenomenon. Most fossils are bones or teeth, as soft tissues usually decay before they can be buried and mineralized. The unique conditions in Liaoning, rapid burial by volcanic ash, low oxygen levels, and fine-grained sediments, created a perfect environment for preserving delicate structures like feathers, skin, and even internal organs. As a result, the fossils from this region provide an unparalleled window into the biology and behavior of feathered dinosaurs. These discoveries have also allowed scientists to study the color of dinosaur feathers. By examining microscopic structures called melanosomes, organelles that contain pigment, researchers have been able to reconstruct the coloration of some species. Sinosauropteryx, for example, had a striped tail, while Anchiornis sported a striking pattern of black, white, and reddish-brown feathers. These findings suggest that visual signaling and camouflage were important aspects of dinosaur life, just as they are for modern birds. The realization that feathers predated flight by tens of millions of years has profound implications for our understanding of dinosaur evolution. It challenges the traditional view that feathers evolved solely for the purpose of flying, and instead points to a broader range of functions: insulation, display, camouflage, and even brooding. This evolutionary flexibility may have been a key factor in the success of theropod dinosaurs, allowing them to adapt to a variety of environments and lifestyles. The connection between dinosaurs and birds is now one of the most well-supported ideas in paleontology. Detailed comparisons of skeletons, especially the wrists, hips, and wishbones, furculae, reveal striking similarities between non-avian theropods and early birds like Archaeopteryx. The presence of feathers, hollow bones, and even evidence of air sacs in the skeletons of some dinosaurs further blurs the line between the two groups. In fact, many paleontologists now consider birds to be living dinosaurs, a lineage that survived the mass extinction at the end of the Cretaceous and continues to thrive today. The discovery of feathered dinosaurs has also sparked new questions. For instance, why did some large theropods, such as adult Tyrannosaurus rex, appear to lose their feathers as they grew? One hypothesis is that as these animals reached gigantic sizes, their need for insulation decreased, much like how modern elephants have sparse hair compared to smaller mammals. Alternatively, feathers may have persisted in certain regions of the body or served specialized functions unrelated to temperature regulation. Another area of active research is the evolution of flight itself. Did flight evolve once, in the lineage leading to modern birds? Or did multiple groups of feathered dinosaurs experiment with gliding and powered flight independently? The diversity of feathered forms in the fossil record suggests that the path to flight was not a straight line, but a complex web of evolutionary experiments. Some species, like Microraptor, may have been adept gliders, while others, such as Caudipteryx, use their feathers primarily for display or brooding. The lianing fossil beds continue to yield new discoveries, each adding depth and nuance to our understanding of feathered dinosaurs. As paleontologists uncover more specimens, they are able to reconstruct not just the appearance, but also the behavior and ecology of these remarkable animals. The vibrant feathered world of the Mesozoic is a far cry from the drab, reptilian dinosaurs of old textbooks, a testament to the power of scientific discovery to reshape our view of the past. As we look ahead, the story of feathers before flight reminds us that evolution is a process of continual innovation and adaptation. The traits that define a group today may have originated for entirely different reasons in the distant past. In the case of dinosaurs, feathers were not just a prelude to flight. They were a key to survival, communication, and perhaps even beauty in a world long vanished. When most people picture dinosaurs, it's often the giants that come to mind. Creatures so massive that their very existence seems to defy the limits of biology. Among these, the sauropods stand apart, with necks stretching longer than a city bus and bodies weighing as much as a herd of elephants. Sauropods like Argentinosaurus, Patagotitan, and Dreadnoughtus were the largest land animals to ever walk the earth. But how did these giants grow so large? And what adaptations allowed them to thrive at such an extraordinary scale? The story of sauropod gigantism begins in the Jurassic period, around 200 million years ago. Early sauropodomorphs, such as Plateosaurus, were already experimenting with large body sizes. But it was in the Middle and Late Jurassic that true giants emerged. Fossils from Argentina, Tanzania, and North America reveal a remarkable evolutionary trend. Sauropods kept getting bigger. Argentinosaurus, discovered in Patagonia in the 1990s, is estimated to have reached lengths of over 30 meters and weighed up to 100 tons. Patagotitan, another Patagonian titan described in 2017, rivals Argentinosaurus in size, with some estimates placing it among the heaviest terrestrial animals ever. But size alone does not tell the whole story. The physiology of sauropods was a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Their bones were riddled with air sacs, hollow spaces that made the skeleton lighter without sacrificing strength. This adaptation, known as pneumaticity, is also seen in modern birds and allowed sauropods to support their immense bodies while reducing the energy needed to move. Their long necks, sometimes containing more than a dozen vertebrae, enabled them to reach vegetation high in the trees or sweep wide areas of ground without moving their massive bodies. Some paleontologists compare this to a living crane, able to feed efficiently over a broad range. The square cube law, a mathematical principle stating that as an object increases in size, its volume grows faster than its surface area, poses a major challenge for large animals. As body size increases, weight rises much more quickly than the strength of bones and muscles. Sauropods overcame this with a combination of lightweight skeletons, column-like limbs, and a sprawling stance that distributed their weight evenly. Their feet were cushioned with thick pads, and their vertebrae interlocked in a way that provided both flexibility and support. Sauropods' respiratory systems were another key to their gigantism. Like modern birds, they likely possessed a highly efficient lung and air sac system that allowed for continuous airflow and better oxygen exchange. This system not only supported their high metabolic demands, but also helped cool their enormous bodies. Fossil evidence, including the structure of their vertebrae and ribs, supports the presence of these air sacs, which extended into the bones themselves, creating a lightweight but strong framework. Feeding strategies also played a crucial role. Sauropods were herbivores, consuming vast quantities of plant material daily. Their long necks allowed them to access food sources unavailable to other herbivores, reducing competition. Some species had peg-like teeth suited for stripping leaves, while others had spoon-shaped teeth for cropping vegetation. Unlike many modern large herbivores, sauropods likely swallowed food whole, relying on gastroliths, stones found in their digestive tracts, to grind plant matter in their stomachs. The environment of the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods supported these giants with abundant vegetation. Warm climates and high levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide promoted lush forests and fast-growing plants. Fossilized pollen and leaves indicate a variety of conifers, cycads, and ferns that formed the sauropod's diet. Some scientists suggest that sauropods may have migrated seasonally to follow food availability, though direct evidence remains limited. Despite their size, sauropods were not invincible. Their enormous bulk made them slow to mature, with growth rates inferred from bone histology, showing rapid juvenile growth but a long period to reach full size. Predators like Allosaurus and later large theropods may have targeted young or sick individuals. Fossilized trackways sometimes show groups of sauropods moving together, possibly as a defense strategy. The discovery of sauropod fossils across multiple continents highlights their global success. From the vast plains of North America to the deserts of Africa and the forests of South America, sauropods adapted to diverse habitats. Their fossils have been found in both arid and humid environments, indicating a remarkable ecological flexibility. The question of size limits remains a topic of research. While Argentinosaurus and Patagoteton represent the upper extremes, some paleontologists argue that even larger sauropods may have existed but left no fossil record. Others suggest that biomechanical and physiological constraints ultimately capped their size. Regardless, the giants among giants remain a symbol of the extraordinary possibilities of evolution. The study of sauropod gigantism continues to evolve as new discoveries and technologies shed light on their biology. Advanced imaging techniques, such as CT scanning, allow paleontologists to examine the internal structure of bones, revealing details about growth patterns, muscle attachment, and even disease. Isotopic analysis of sauropod teeth provides clues about their diet and migration, while computer modeling helps scientists understand how these giants moved and interacted with their environment. One area of ongoing research is the question of how sauropods reproduced and cared for their young. Fossilized nests and eggs, such as those found in Argentina and Mongolia, suggest that some species laid large clutches in communal nesting grounds. The size and shape of the eggs, as well as the arrangement of nests, indicate that sauropods may have returned to the same sites year after year. However, direct evidence of parental care is limited, and it remains unclear whether sauropods protected their young or left them to fend for themselves. The impact of sauropods on their ecosystems was profound. Their feeding habits shaped the structure of ancient forests, influencing plant diversity and distribution. By consuming vast amounts of vegetation, sauropods may have helped cycle nutrients through the ecosystem, much like modern elephants do today. Their sheer size also made them ecosystem engineers, creating pathways and open spaces as they moved through the landscape. Despite their dominance, sauropods eventually disappeared at the end of the Cretaceous, victims of the same extinction event that wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs. Their legacy, however, endures in the fossil record and in the scientific quest to understand the limits of life on land. The giants among giants challenge our perceptions of what is possible in nature, reminding us that evolution can produce forms both awe-inspiring and improbable. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and refine their techniques, the story of sauropod gigantism grows richer and more complex. Each discovery adds a new chapter to our understanding of these remarkable animals, illuminating the interplay of biology, environment, and deep time. The giants of the Mesozoic may be gone, but their mysteries remain, inviting us to look closer, ask new questions, and marvel at the wonders of life's history. The social lives of dinosaurs have long fascinated scientists and the public alike. Were these ancient creatures solitary wanderers, or did they move in coordinated groups, hunting and migrating together? For decades, the prevailing image was one of lone predators stalking their prey. But recent discoveries have painted a more nuanced picture. Evidence from fossilized trackways, bone beds, and even injuries preserved in bones suggests that some dinosaurs may have lived and hunted in packs, while others preferred a solitary existence. One of the most compelling cases for pack behavior comes from the study of dromaeosaurs, a group of small to medium-sized theropods often referred to as raptors. In the 1960s, paleontologist John Ostrom's work on Deinonychus revolutionized our understanding of these animals. Ostrom noted that multiple individuals of Deinonychus were found together alongside the remains of a much larger herbivore, Tenontosaurus. This association led to the hypothesis that Deinonychus may have hunted in groups, using coordinated attacks to bring down prey much larger than themselves. Further support for pack hunting comes from fossilized trackways, sets of footprints preserved in ancient mud or sand. In Utah, trackways attributed to Utah raptor and other theropods show multiple individuals moving in the same direction at the same time, suggesting group travel. Similar evidence has been found for other predatory dinosaurs, including Allosaurus, whose remains are often found in bone beds containing multiple individuals. These sites may represent mass death events, but they also hint at social behavior, possibly related to hunting or scavenging. But not all dinosaurs were social. Large predators like Tyrannosaurus rex show evidence of both solitary and group behavior. Some fossil sites contain multiple T-Rex individuals, while others suggest that adults may have been territorial and aggressive toward one another. Injuries from bites and healed fractures indicate that conflicts between individuals were common, perhaps over food or mates. Social behavior in herbivorous dinosaurs is equally intriguing. Fossilized bone beds, sites where the remains of dozens or even hundreds of individuals are found together, provide strong evidence for herding in species like hadrosaurs and ceratopsians. In Montana, the famous Egg Mountain site revealed nesting colonies of Maiasaura, a duck-billed dinosaur whose name means good mother lizard. The arrangement of nests and the presence of juveniles at different growth stages suggests that Maiasaura lived in large groups and cared for their young, much like modern birds. Trackways offer additional clues. In Canada and the western United States, extensive sets of hadrosaur footprints show multiple individuals moving in parallel, sometimes for miles. These trackways indicate coordinated movement, possibly during seasonal migrations or in response to environmental changes. The size and spacing of the footprints suggest that adults and juveniles traveled together, providing protection and social structure within the herd. Ceratopsians, such as Triceratops and Centrosaurus, also show evidence of group living. Bone beds in Alberta, Canada, contain the remains of hundreds of Centrosaurus individuals, many of them juveniles. The cause of death is often attributed to flooding or drought, but the sheer number of individuals found together points to herding behavior. Some paleontologists propose that these groups provided safety in numbers, reducing the risk of predation by large theropods. However, not all herbivores were social. Some sauropods, despite their massive size, may have lived solitary lives or formed loose aggregations rather than tightly knit herds. Fossil evidence from trackways and nesting sites suggests variability in social structure, with some species showing signs of group movement and others appearing more independent. The reasons for these differences are still debated, but may relate to food availability, predation pressure, and reproductive strategies. The question of whether dinosaurs hunted cooperatively or simply scavenged together remains open. While some trackways and bone beds suggest coordinated behavior, others may reflect opportunistic feeding or mass death events unrelated to social structure. Modern analogues, such as crocodiles and Komodo dragons, sometimes feed together without true cooperation, complicating interpretations of the fossil record. The study of dinosaur social behavior is a dynamic field, with new discoveries continually reshaping our understanding. Advanced techniques, such as isotopic analysis of bones and teeth, allow scientists to track the movements and diets of individual dinosaurs, providing insights into group dynamics and migration patterns. For example, variations in oxygen and carbon isotopes can reveal whether individuals from the same bone bed lived in the same environment or migrated from different regions, shedding light on the structure of herds and packs. Comparisons with modern animals also inform our interpretations. Birds, the closest living relatives of dinosaurs, display a wide range of social behaviors, from solitary eagles to highly social flamingos and penguins. Crocodiles, another group descended from ancient archosaurs, are generally solitary but will congregate at feeding sites. The emotional lives of dinosaurs, while impossible to reconstruct directly, can be inferred from their behavior and anatomy. The presence of brooding adults, coordinated movement, and group nesting all point to complex social interactions. Injuries from intraspecific combat, such as bite marks and healed fractures, suggest competition and hierarchy within groups. The evolution of display structures, horns, crests, and frills, may have facilitated communication and social bonding, much as they do in modern animals. Despite these advances, many mysteries remain. Did pack-hunting theropods use vocalizations or visual signals to coordinate attacks? How did herds of hadrosaurs and ceratopsians maintain cohesion over long migrations? Were solitary dinosaurs truly independent, or did they interact with others in ways not preserved in the fossil record? Each new discovery adds nuance to our understanding, reminding us that the social lives of dinosaurs were as varied and complex as those of animals today. As paleontologists continue to explore ancient trackways, bone beds, and nesting sites, the story of pack hunters and loners grows richer. The evidence points to a world where dinosaurs lived in groups, formed bonds, and sometimes competed fiercely for resources. Their social structures shaped their survival, reproduction, and even their evolution, leaving a legacy that endures in the behavior of their modern descendants. Predatory dinosaurs were among the most formidable hunters to ever roam the earth, and their evolutionary innovations reveal a story of adaptation, specialization, and relentless competition. From the razor-sharp teeth of Tyrannosaurus rex to the aquatic prowess of Spinosaurus. Theropods, the group of bipedal, mostly carnivorous dinosaurs, developed a remarkable array of tools and strategies to dominate their environments. But what made these predators so successful? And how did their anatomy and behavior evolve to meet the challenges of their time? One of the most iconic features of theropod predators is their teeth. Tyrannosaurus rex, for example, possessed teeth up to 30 centimeters long, thick and serrated like steak knives. Studies of T-Rex's bite force, using computer models and fossilized bite marks, estimate that it could exert up to 12,800 pounds of pressure, enough to crush bone and even the shell of a car. This immense power was supported by robust jaw muscles and a reinforced skull, adaptations that allowed T-Rex to tackle large prey and even scavenge carcasses with ease. But not all theropods relied on brute strength. Velociraptor, made famous by movies but much smaller in reality, was a swift and agile hunter. Its most distinctive weapon was the sickle-shaped claw on each foot, which could be raised and slashed downward with precision. Studies of fossilized bones and trackways suggest that Velociraptor used these claws to pin and wound prey, much like modern birds of prey use their talons. The structure of its wrist and arm bones allowed for rapid, flexible movement, enhancing its ability to grasp and manipulate struggling victims. Spinosaurus, another remarkable predator, took a different evolutionary path. Recent CT scans and analysis of its bones reveal adaptations for an aquatic lifestyle. Its long, narrow jaws were filled with conical teeth ideal for catching fish, and its dense limb bones suggest it was a strong swimmer. The discovery of paddle-like feet and a sail-like structure on its back further support the idea that Spinosaurus spent much of its time in rivers and lakes, hunting aquatic prey. Theropod predators were not just defined by their weaponry. They also possessed highly developed sensory systems that gave them an edge in the hunt. Skull analysis using CT scans has revealed that many theropods had large olfactory bulbs, indicating a keen sense of smell. Tyrannosaurus rex, for instance, likely relied on its ability to detect scents over long distances, helping it locate prey or carrion. The placement and size of the eyes in species like Troodon and Velociraptor suggest excellent vision, possibly even night vision, allowing them to hunt in low-light conditions. Hearing was another critical adaptation. The inner ear structure of some theropods, reconstructed from fossilized skulls, points to sensitivity to low-frequency sounds. This could have helped predators detect the movements of prey or communicate with others over long distances. The balance and coordination required for rapid movement and precise attacks were supported by specialized inner ear anatomy, similar to that found in modern birds. Group hunting strategies, while still debated, are supported by fossil evidence in some species. Allosaurus, a large Jurassic predator, is often found in bone beds with multiple individuals, suggesting possible pack behavior. Trackways showing parallel movement and fossilized remains of prey with multiple bite marks hint at coordinated attacks. However, whether these predators truly cooperated or simply converged on the same food source remains an open question. Theropods also evolved a range of body sizes and shapes to exploit different ecological niches. Small, agile hunters like Compsognathus and Ornitholestes specialized in catching insects and small vertebrates, while giants like Giganotosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus rivaled T-Rex in size and power. The diversity of theropod forms reflects the intense competition and dynamic environments of the Mesozoic, where predators had to continually adapt to survive. The mechanics of predation were equally varied. Velociraptor's killing claw, for example, was not just a slashing weapon, but may have been used to grip and hold prey, much like the talons of modern eagles. Computer models of muscle attachment and limb movement suggest that raptors could deliver powerful kicks and maintain a firm hold on struggling victims. Spinosaurus's long, flexible jaws allowed it to snatch fish with speed and precision, while its robust body enabled it to maneuver in water. The evolutionary arms race between predators and prey drove continual innovation among theropods. As herbivorous dinosaurs developed defensive adaptations, armor, horns, and herd behavior, predators responded with new hunting strategies and anatomical refinements. The interplay between offense and defense is evident in the fossil record, where healed bite marks and broken bones tell stories of survival and conflict. Sensory capabilities were not limited to sight and smell. Some theropods, like Troodon, had exceptionally large brains relative to their body size, suggesting advanced problem-solving abilities and complex behaviors. The structure of their hands and claws indicates dexterity, possibly used for manipulating objects or interacting with their environment in sophisticated ways. These traits may have given certain predators an edge in locating and capturing elusive prey. The study of theropod innovations extends beyond fossils. Modern technology, including biomechanical modeling and comparative anatomy, allows scientists to test hypotheses about movement, feeding, and behavior. For example, simulations of T-Rex's bite force and jaw mechanics have confirmed its ability to crush bone, while reconstructions of Spinosaurus's swimming style have revealed a unique mode of aquatic locomotion. The diversity of predatory dinosaurs reflects the complexity of ancient ecosystems. From the towering giants of South America to the nimble hunters of Asia, theropods occupied every major continent and adapted to a wide range of environments. Their success was built on a foundation of anatomical innovation, sensory acuity, and behavioral flexibility. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and refine their techniques, the story of predator innovations grows richer. Each discovery adds depth to our understanding of how these remarkable animals lived, hunted, and evolved. The legacy of theropod predators endures in the birds of today, whose keen senses, agile bodies, and complex behaviors are a testament to the evolutionary heritage of their dinosaur ancestors. The discovery of dinosaur nests and eggs has transformed our understanding of how these ancient animals reproduced and cared for their young. For much of the 20th century, dinosaurs were thought to be cold-blooded and indifferent parents, laying eggs and leaving them to fate. But fossil evidence from sites around the world has revealed a far more complex picture, one that includes communal nesting grounds, brooding adults, and even signs of parental care. One of the most influential discoveries came from the Badlands of Montana, where paleontologist Jack Horner uncovered a nesting site belonging to Maiasaura, a duck-billed hadrosaur. The site, dubbed Egg Mountain, contained dozens of nests arranged in a colony, each filled with eggs and the remains of hatchlings at various growth stages. The presence of juveniles in the nests, some with partially developed teeth and bones, suggested that Maiasaura did not abandon its young. Instead, these dinosaurs may have fed and protected their offspring for weeks or even months after hatching, a behavior more reminiscent of birds. Fossilized embryos provide further insight into dinosaur development. In Mongolia, the discovery of oviraptorid eggs containing well-preserved embryos revealed rapid growth rates and advanced development before hatching. Some embryos showed evidence of curled postures, similar to those seen in modern bird eggs. The arrangement of eggs in clutches, often in circular patterns, suggests that some dinosaurs carefully position their eggs for optimal incubation. Brooding behavior is another area where dinosaurs and birds show striking similarities. Fossils of oviraptorids, once thought to be egg thieves, have been found sitting atop nests with their arms spread protectively over the eggs. The posture and anatomy of these dinosaurs indicate that they may have used their feathered limbs to shield and warm their eggs, much like modern birds do today. This discovery challenged long-held assumptions and highlighted the evolutionary continuity between non-avian dinosaurs and their avian descendants. The diversity of dinosaur reproductive strategies is evident in the fossil record. Some species, like the sauropods, laid large numbers of eggs in shallow pits or trenches, often in communal nesting grounds. Fossilized nests from Argentina and India show clusters of eggs arranged in patterns, suggesting that sauropods returned to the same sites year after year. The sheer number of eggs, sometimes dozens per nest, indicates a reproductive strategy focused on quantity, with the hope that at least some offspring would survive the hazards of predation and environmental change. Other dinosaurs, such as hadrosaurs and ceratopsians, appear to have invested more in parental care. The presence of juveniles at different growth stages within nesting sites suggests extended periods of care, with adults possibly feeding and protecting their young. Fossilized trackways show groups of adults and juveniles moving together, supporting the idea of family groups or herds. The arrangement of nests in colonies may have provided additional protection, as the presence of many adults could deter predators and increase the chances of survival for the young. Egg morphology and shell structure offer further clues about dinosaur reproduction. Some eggs had thick, robust shells, while others were thin and fragile. The microstructure of the shells, studied under microscopes, reveals adaptations for gas exchange, moisture retention, and protection from the environment. In some cases, eggs show evidence of pigmentation, which may have helped camouflage them from predators or regulate temperature. Comparisons with modern reptiles and birds highlight the evolutionary innovations of dinosaurs. Crocodiles, for example, lay eggs and guard their nests, but provide limited care after hatching. Birds, on the other hand, often invest heavily in brooding, feeding, and protecting their young. The evidence from dinosaur nests and eggs suggests a spectrum of behaviors, with some species closer to the bird model and others more reptilian. The study of fossilized embryos has also revealed details about growth rates and development. Bone histology, examining the microscopic structure of bones, shows that some dinosaurs grew rapidly after hatching, reaching adult size in just a few years. This fast growth may have been an adaptation to avoid predation, as larger size offered greater protection. The presence of growth rings in bones, similar to those in trees, allows scientists to estimate the age of individuals and reconstruct life histories. The reproductive strategies of dinosaurs were as varied as their forms, and ongoing discoveries continue to refine our understanding of their life cycles. In Mongolia's Gobi Desert, fossilized nests of protoceratops and other species have revealed not only eggs and embryos, but also evidence of environmental challenges, such as sandstorms and droughts, that shaped nesting success. Some nests show signs of predation, with broken eggs and scattered shells indicating the ever-present threat from other dinosaurs and ancient mammals. The question of parental care extends beyond the nest. Trackways and bone beds sometimes show juveniles traveling with adults, suggesting that some species maintained family groups for extended periods. In hadrosaurs, the presence of multiple age groups within a single site points to social structures that may have included teaching, protection, and communal feeding. These behaviors, while difficult to confirm directly, are supported by analogies with modern birds and mammals. Egg clutches and nesting sites also provide clues about dinosaur population dynamics and survival strategies. High mortality rates among hatchlings, inferred from the abundance of juvenile remains, suggest that many young dinosaurs never reached adulthood. This pattern is common in modern reptiles and birds, where large numbers of offspring are produced to offset high predation and environmental risks. The balance between quantity and quality in reproductive investment reflects the pressures of ancient ecosystems. The study of dinosaur nests, eggs, and parental care has transformed our view of these ancient animals. Far from being indifferent, many dinosaurs invested significant energy in ensuring the survival of their young. Their strategies ranged from mass nesting and rapid growth to brooding and social cohesion, illustrating the evolutionary creativity that defined the age of dinosaurs. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and apply advanced techniques, the story of dinosaur reproduction grows richer and more complex. Each nest, egg, and embryo adds a new layer to our understanding, revealing the intimate details of life and survival in a world long vanished. The legacy of dinosaur parenting endures in the birds of today, whose nurturing behaviors echo the ancient rhythms of deep time. The idea of dinosaurs migrating across ancient landscapes is both captivating and complex. For years, paleontologists wondered whether these massive animals, especially the largest herbivores, undertook seasonal journeys similar to those of modern wildebeest or caribou. The evidence for dinosaur migration comes from a combination of fossilized trackways, isotopic analysis of teeth and bones, and the distribution of fossils across ancient environments. Each line of evidence offers a glimpse into the movement and behavior of these prehistoric giants. One of the most compelling clues comes from trackways, long sequences of footprints preserved in ancient mud and sand. In places like the western United States, Canada, and even parts of Africa, trackways stretch for miles, sometimes showing groups of sauropods or hadrosaurs moving in the same direction. The size and spacing of the footprints suggest coordinated movement, possibly over long distances. Some trackways are so extensive that they hint at seasonal migrations, with herds traveling to find food, water, or nesting grounds. Isotopic analysis has added a new dimension to the study of dinosaur migration. By examining the ratios of oxygen and strontium isotopes in fossilized teeth, scientists can infer where an animal lived and what it ate during different times of the year. For example, changes in oxygen isotope ratios can reflect shifts in climate or water sources, while strontium isotopes can indicate movement across different types of bedrock. Studies of sauropod teeth from North America suggest that some individuals traveled hundreds of miles between wet and dry seasons, following the availability of water and vegetation. The distribution of fossils also supports the idea of migration. In some regions, concentrations of dinosaur bones are found near ancient riverbeds or lakes, suggesting that these sites served as seasonal gathering points. The presence of multiple age groups within a single bone bed hints at family groups or herds moving together. In other cases, the absence of certain species from specific layers or locations may reflect seasonal movements or changes in habitat. The environments of the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods were dynamic, shaped by shifting continents, changing climates, and fluctuating sea levels. These factors would have influenced the availability of food and water, driving the need for migration in some dinosaur species. Fossil evidence from North America's late Cretaceous formations, such as the famous Hell Creek and Dinosaur Park formations, reveals a patchwork of floodplains, forests, and river systems. During dry seasons, water sources would have become scarce, forcing large herbivores like hadrosaurs and ceratopsians to travel in search of sustenance. Trackways provide a direct record of these movements. In Colorado, the Purgatoire River track site preserves hundreds of sauropod footprints, many moving in parallel and oriented in the same direction. The sheer number and organization of these tracks suggest coordinated group travel, possibly over long distances. Similar trackways in Alaska's Prince Creek Formation show hadrosaurs moving northward, indicating that some dinosaurs may have migrated to polar regions during the summer months to take advantage of abundant vegetation and extended daylight. Isotopic studies have further refined our understanding of dinosaur migration. By analyzing the chemical signatures in tooth enamel, scientists can reconstruct the movements of individual animals over their lifetimes. For example, a study of Camarasaurus teeth from the Morrison Formation found that the isotopic composition varied seasonally, consistent with migration between lowland floodplains and upland areas. This pattern mirrors the behavior of modern large herbivores, which move between habitats to exploit seasonal resources. The question of whether all dinosaurs migrated remains open. While evidence for migration is strong in some groups, such as sauropods and hadrosaurs, it is less clear for others. Predatory dinosaurs, for example, may have followed herds of herbivores or remained in territories with stable food supplies. The size and physiology of different species would have influenced their ability to travel long distances. Smaller dinosaurs or those with specialized diets may have been more sedentary, relying on local resources rather than undertaking arduous journeys. Migration would have posed significant challenges for dinosaurs. Long-distance travel requires energy, coordination, and the ability to navigate across vast and sometimes hostile landscapes. Fossilized injuries and pathologies in bones suggest that some individuals suffered from the rigors of migration, including broken limbs and signs of disease. The presence of juvenile and elderly individuals in trackways and bone beds indicates that entire family groups may have migrated together, facing the risks and rewards of the journey as a unit. Despite the mounting evidence, the full scope of dinosaur migration remains a subject of ongoing research and debate. Some paleontologists argue that the patchy fossil record and the challenges of interpreting ancient environments make it difficult to draw firm conclusions. For instance, concentrations of bones at ancient water sources could result from seasonal migrations, but they might also reflect droughts or catastrophic events that forced animals to congregate in shrinking habitats. The absence of certain species from specific layers could be due to migration, local extinction, or simply gaps in preservation. Modern analogues help paleontologists frame their hypotheses. Today's large herbivores, such as elephants and wildebeest, migrate in response to seasonal changes in food and water availability. These migrations shape entire ecosystems, influencing plant growth, predator populations, and nutrient cycling. If dinosaurs behaved similarly, their movements would have had profound effects on ancient landscapes, driving patterns of vegetation and shaping the distribution of other animals. Technological advances continue to refine our understanding. High-resolution mapping of trackways, isotopic analysis of teeth and bones, and computer modeling of ancient climates all contribute to a more nuanced picture of dinosaur migration. For example, studies of polar dinosaur fossils in Alaska and Australia suggest that some species may have adapted to extreme environments, enduring months of darkness and cold rather than migrating. These findings challenge the assumption that all dinosaurs followed the same patterns and highlight the diversity of strategies employed by different groups. The migration question also intersects with broader themes in dinosaur biology, such as social behavior, reproduction, and survival. Migrating in groups could have provided protection from predators, facilitated the sharing of information about resources, and increased the chances of finding suitable nesting sites. The risks of migration, injury, predation, and environmental hazards would have been balanced by the rewards of access to food, water, and safe breeding grounds. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and apply innovative techniques, the story of dinosaur migration grows richer and more complex. Each trackway, tooth, and bone bed adds a new layer to our understanding, revealing the dynamic and interconnected world of the Mesozoic. The question of how and why dinosaurs moved across ancient landscapes remains open, inviting further exploration and discovery. For generations, dinosaurs were imagined in muted shades of grey, green, or brown, an artistic convention born more from the limitations of fossil evidence than from scientific certainty. But in the last 2 decades, paleontologists have begun to unlock the secrets of dinosaur coloration, revealing a world that may have been far more vibrant and visually complex than anyone previously suspected. The key to this revolution lies in the microscopic structures preserved in fossilized feathers and skin, offering direct evidence of colors and patterns that vanished millions of years ago. The breakthrough came with the discovery of melanosomes, tiny organelles within cells that contain pigment. In modern birds, the shape and arrangement of melanosomes determine feather color from jet black to fiery red. In 2010, scientists applied scanning electron microscopy to the feathers of Sinosauropteryx, a small theropod from China's early Cretaceous, and found evidence of banded patterns on its tail. The shape of the melanosomes indicated a rusty orange hue, while other regions suggested shades of brown and black. This was the first time the actual color of a non-avian dinosaur had been reconstructed from fossil evidence. Subsequent studies expanded the palette. Fossils of Anchiornis, another feathered dinosaur from China, revealed a striking pattern of black, white, and reddish-brown feathers, reminiscent of a magpie or woodpecker. The arrangement of colors suggested not just camouflage, but also display, visual signals used in communication, mate attraction, or intimidation. In Psittacosaurus, a small parrot-beaked dinosaur, CT scans of fossilized skin showed countershading, a dark back and lighter belly, a pattern common in modern animals that helps conceal them from predators. The study of dinosaur coloration has opened new windows into their behavior and ecology. Melanosome analysis, combined with advanced imaging techniques, allows scientists to infer not only the colors, but also the possible functions of these patterns. For instance, countershading in Psittacosaurus suggests a need for camouflage in forested environments, while bold stripes and spots in Sinosauropteryx and Anchiornis may have played roles in social signaling or mate selection. These findings challenge the long-held assumption that dinosaurs were drab and uniform, instead pointing to a world where visual communication was as important as it is in modern birds and reptiles. Display structures, such as the plates of Stegosaurus or the frills of Triceratops, have long been subjects of speculation. While direct evidence of color in these features is rare, their size and shape suggest they were used for more than just defense. In modern animals, bright colors and elaborate structures often serve to attract mates or deter rivals. Some paleontologists propose that the vascularization, rich blood supply, seen in Stegosaurus plates could have supported vivid coloration, perhaps changing with mood or season. Similarly, the large frills and horns of ceratopsians may have been adorned with patterns or colors used in visual displays. The preservation of color in the fossil record is a rare phenomenon, dependent on exceptional conditions, fine-grained sediments, rapid burial, and low oxygen levels help protect delicate structures like feathers and skin, allowing melanosomes to survive for millions of years. The fossil beds of Liaoning, China, have been particularly fruitful, yielding dozens of specimens with preserved pigmentation. As techniques improve, paleontologists are beginning to find evidence of color in fossils from other regions, expanding our understanding of dinosaur diversity. The implications of these discoveries extend beyond appearance. Coloration can influence behavior, ecology, and even evolution. In modern birds, for example, plumage color affects mate choice, predator avoidance, and social hierarchy. If dinosaurs used color in similar ways, it would have shaped their interactions, reproductive strategies, and survival. The ability to reconstruct these patterns brings us closer to understanding the daily lives of these ancient animals, bridging the gap between bones and behavior. The quest to uncover dinosaur colors is ongoing, and each new discovery adds nuance to our understanding of their world. While melanosomes provide direct evidence for blacks, browns, and reds, other pigments, such as carotenoids and structural colors, are less likely to survive fossilization. This means that some hues, like bright yellows, blues, or iridescent sheens, may remain forever hidden from science. The limitations of preservation remind us that the true palette of the Mesozoic may have included colors we can only imagine. Despite these challenges, paleontologists continue to push the boundaries of what is possible. Experimental studies on modern bird feathers and reptile skin help scientists interpret fossil evidence, while advances in imaging and chemical analysis reveal new details about ancient pigmentation. The integration of data from genetics, developmental biology, and ecology allows researchers to build more accurate models of dinosaur appearance and behavior. The study of color also intersects with broader questions about dinosaur evolution and adaptation. Visual communication, camouflage, and display are all shaped by environmental pressures and social interactions. The presence of complex color patterns in feathered dinosaurs suggests that these animals lived in visually rich environments, where sight played a crucial role in survival and reproduction. The evolution of feathers, initially for insulation or display, may have set the stage for the dazzling diversity seen in modern birds. As paleontologists continue to explore the fossil record, the story of dinosaur coloration grows richer and more complex. Each melanosome, feather, and patch of skin adds a new layer to our understanding, revealing a world that was anything but drab. The colors we'll never see remind us of the limits of science, but also of its power to illuminate the hidden beauty of deep time. For much of the history of paleontology, dinosaurs were dismissed as slow-witted, lumbering reptiles, creatures driven by instinct rather than intelligence. This stereotype, rooted in early reconstructions and limited fossil evidence, has been steadily overturned by decades of research. Today, scientists recognize that dinosaur brains and behavior were far more complex than once believed, with some species displaying remarkable sensory abilities, problem-solving skills, and even signs of social learning. The key to understanding dinosaur intelligence lies in the study of their brains, or more precisely, the spaces within their skulls where brains once resided. These cavities, called endocasts, can be examined using CT scans and 3D modeling to estimate brain size and structure. One important measure is the encephalization quotient, EQ, which compares brain size to body size. While most dinosaurs had EQs similar to modern reptiles, some theropods, especially the small, bird-like dromaeosaurs and troodontids, had much higher values, approaching those of modern birds. Trudon, a small, agile predator from the late Cretaceous of North America, is often cited as one of the smartest dinosaurs. Its brain was large relative to its body, with well-developed regions for vision and coordination. The size and placement of its eyes suggest excellent night vision, while its flexible hands and grasping claws indicate dexterity. Studies of Troodon's skull reveal expanded olfactory bulbs, hinting at a keen sense of smell, and a large optic lobe, supporting acute vision. These adaptations would have made Truden an effective hunter, capable of tracking prey and navigating complex environments. The intelligence of dinosaurs is best understood through a combination of anatomical evidence and behavioral inference. Dromaeosaurs, such as Velociraptor and Deinonychus, possessed relatively large brains for their size, with features suggesting advanced sensory processing and coordination. Their forward-facing eyes provided binocular vision, crucial for depth perception during hunting. The structure of their inner ears and balance organs indicates agility and precise movement, supporting the idea that these predators could plan and execute complex attacks. Fossil evidence also hints at problem-solving abilities. Trackways and bone beds suggest coordinated group behavior in some species, which may have required communication and learning. Injuries from intraspecific combat, such as bite marks and healed fractures, imply social interactions and possibly the establishment of dominance hierarchies. The presence of brooding adults and communal nesting sites in certain species points to parental care and the transmission of learned behaviors. Comparisons with modern animals provide further context. Birds, the closest living relatives of dinosaurs, display a wide range of cognitive abilities, from tool use in crows to complex vocalizations in parrots. Crocodilians, another group descended from ancient archosaurs, show social learning and problem-solving in captivity. These analogues suggest that at least some dinosaurs possessed the neural architecture for sophisticated behaviors, even if direct evidence is limited by the fossil record. The limitations of fossilized brain cases mean that much remains unknown. Soft tissues rarely preserve, and brain structure must be inferred from bone. However, advances in imaging and modeling continue to refine our understanding, revealing a spectrum of intelligence across dinosaur species. The smartest dinosaurs may have rivaled modern birds in cognitive abilities, while others were more comparable to reptiles. The question of dinosaur intelligence is not just about brain size, but also about how these animals interacted with their environments and each other. Evidence from nesting sites, trackways, and fossilized remains suggests that some dinosaurs engaged in behaviors requiring memory, learning, and even cooperation. For example, the complex nesting colonies of hadrosaurs and the brooding behavior of oviraptorids imply a level of parental investment and social structure that goes beyond simple instinct. These behaviors would have required the ability to recognize kin, remember nesting sites, and respond to environmental cues, traits associated with higher cognitive function. Predatory dinosaurs, particularly the dromaeosaurs and troodontids, show anatomical features linked to advanced sensory perception and motor control. Their large optic lobes and forward-facing eyes suggest acute vision, while the structure of their semicircular canals, organs in the inner ear responsible for balance, indicates agility and precise head movements. These adaptations would have been essential for stalking prey, navigating complex terrain, and possibly even coordinating with others during group hunts. The fossil record also provides indirect evidence of play and exploration, behaviors often associated with intelligence in modern animals. Some paleontologists have interpreted certain bone arrangements and wear patterns as signs that young dinosaurs engaged in social play or practiced skills needed for adulthood. While such interpretations are necessarily speculative, they highlight the growing recognition that dinosaurs were dynamic, responsive animals, not the slow-moving automatons once depicted in early reconstructions. Despite these advances, significant gaps remain in our understanding. The fossilization process rarely preserves the fine details of brain anatomy, and much of what we know comes from comparisons with living relatives. Still, the convergence of evidence from anatomy, behavior, and modern analogues paints a picture of dinosaurs as creatures capable of learning, adaptation, and perhaps even innovation. Their legacy lives on in birds, whose intelligence and behavioral complexity continue to surprise and inspire scientists today. The world of dinosaurs was not silent. For decades, popular culture imagined these ancient giants as mute, communicating only through body language or the occasional thunderous footfall. But recent scientific advances suggest that dinosaurs, like their modern relatives, may have filled their environments with a rich tapestry of sounds, calls, rumbles, hisses, and perhaps even songs. The quest to understand dinosaur vocalizations is a journey through anatomy, fossil evidence, and comparisons with living animals, revealing a dimension of prehistoric life that is only now coming into focus. The first clues come from the anatomy of dinosaur skulls and crests. Hadrosaurs, or duck-billed dinosaurs, are among the best studied in this regard. Many hadrosaur species, such as Parasaurolophus, possessed elaborate cranial crests, hollow tube-like structures that extended from the nose or forehead. CT scans and 3D reconstructions of these crests have shown that they were connected to the nasal passages, forming resonating chambers capable of producing low-frequency sounds. In 1997, a team led by David Weishampel used computer models to simulate the acoustics of Parasaurolophus's crest, concluding that it could have generated deep, resonant calls audible over long distances. These findings suggest that hadrosaurs use sound for communication, perhaps to signal danger, attract mates, or maintain contact within herds. The low-frequency nature of the calls would have allowed them to travel great distances, even through dense forests or across open plains. Modern analogues such as elephants and whales use similar frequencies to communicate over vast areas, supporting the idea that large dinosaurs may have relied on sound to coordinate group behavior. But hadrosaurs were not the only dinosaurs with potential for vocalization. The structure of the skull and throat in theropods, including Tyrannosaurus rex, has been studied for clues about their ability to produce sound. While the popular image of T-Rex roaring like a lion is rooted more in Hollywood than in science, anatomical evidence suggests a more nuanced reality. The larynx and vocal cords, which produce sound in mammals, are rarely preserved in fossils. However, birds, the closest living relatives of dinosaurs, use a different organ called the syrinx, located at the base of the trachea, to create a wide range of vocalizations. Recent discoveries of fossilized syrinxes in ancient birds have provided a window into the evolution of vocal organs. The oldest known syrinx, found in a bird from the late Cretaceous, shows that complex vocalization was present in avian dinosaurs before the extinction event. While no syrinx has yet been found in non-avian dinosaurs, the presence of air sacs and specialized throat structures in some theropods suggests that they may have been capable of producing sounds similar to those of modern birds and reptiles. The study of dinosaur vocalizations extends beyond anatomy to include behavior and ecology. In modern animals, sound serves a variety of functions: warning of predators, attracting mates, establishing territory, and maintaining social bonds. If dinosaurs used vocalizations in similar ways, their calls would have shaped the dynamics of ancient ecosystems. Herding species such as hadrosaurs and ceratopsians may have relied on vocal signals to coordinate movement, protect young, and respond to environmental changes. Evidence from fossilized trackways and bone beds supports the idea of social behavior in many dinosaur species. The presence of multiple age groups within a single site, as seen in Maiasaura nesting colonies, suggests that vocal communication may have played a role in maintaining group cohesion. In birds, parents and chicks use specific calls to recognize each other, and similar behaviors may have existed in dinosaurs. The ability to produce distinct sounds would have facilitated complex social interactions. From courtship displays to alarm calls, display structures, such as the crests of hadrosaurs and the frills of ceratopsians, may have been used in visual and acoustic signaling. The vascularization of these features, rich blood supply and soft tissue, could have supported both color changes and sound production. In modern reptiles, such as crocodiles and lizards, vocalizations are often accompanied by visual displays, enhancing the effectiveness of communication. The interplay between sight and sound in dinosaurs is an area of active research, with new discoveries continually refining our understanding. The environment of the Mesozoic was dynamic and diverse, with forests, floodplains, deserts, and coastal regions providing a range of acoustic landscapes. The ability to produce and perceive sound would have been advantageous in navigating these environments, locating resources, and avoiding danger. Low-frequency calls, for example, are less likely to be absorbed by vegetation and can travel farther than high-pitched sounds. Dinosaurs living in dense forests may have evolved calls suited to their surroundings, while those in open habitats could have used different strategies. Comparisons with modern animals help paleontologists interpret the fossil evidence. Birds, with their complex songs and calls, provide a model for understanding the potential diversity of dinosaur vocalizations. Crocodilians, which produce deep rumbles and hisses, offer insights into the sounds of more primitive archosaurs. The study of animal communication is interdisciplinary, drawing on anatomy, behavior, physics, and ecology to reconstruct the lost voices of the past. Reconstructing the actual sounds of dinosaurs is a challenge that blends science and imagination. While computer models and anatomical studies can estimate the frequencies and qualities of dinosaur calls, the true timbre and complexity of these vocalizations remain elusive. Some researchers have used 3D printed models of hadrosaur crests to simulate their resonant properties, producing haunting, horn-like tones that may approximate the calls of Parasaurolophus. These experiments offer a glimpse into the acoustic world of dinosaurs, but much remains speculative. The evolution of vocal communication in dinosaurs is closely linked to the development of social behavior and sensory systems. The structure of the inner ear, studied through CT scans of fossilized skulls, reveals adaptations for detecting specific frequencies. In some species, enlarged cochlear ducts suggest sensitivity to low-frequency sounds, supporting the idea that vocalizations played a role in group coordination and environmental awareness. The integration of hearing, sight, and vocalization would have enabled dinosaurs to interact in complex ways, responding to changes in their surroundings and the behavior of others. The legacy of dinosaur vocalizations endures in their avian descendants. Birds are among the most vocal animals on Earth, using songs and calls for a wide range of purposes. The diversity of bird vocalizations, from the melodic songs of songbirds to the booming calls of cranes, reflects millions of years of evolutionary innovation. By studying the anatomy and behavior of birds, scientists gain insights into the possible sounds of their dinosaur ancestors, bridging the gap between past and present. The sounds of lost worlds are more than just a scientific curiosity. They offer a window into the daily lives of dinosaurs. Vocalizations would have shaped interactions, influenced survival, and contributed to the richness of ancient ecosystems. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and apply advanced technologies, the story of dinosaur communication grows richer and more nuanced. Each discovery adds depth to our understanding, revealing a world filled not just with movement and color, but with sound. While dinosaurs dominated the land, another evolutionary story was unfolding in the shadows, one that would ultimately shape the future of life on Earth. Mammals, often portrayed as small, nocturnal insectivores eking out an existence beneath the feet of giants, were in fact a diverse and dynamic group throughout the Mesozoic era. Their journey from humble beginnings to eventual dominance after the extinction of the dinosaurs is a tale of adaptation, innovation, and resilience. The earliest true mammals appeared during the late Triassic, around the same time as the first dinosaurs. Descended from synapsid ancestors known as cynodonts, these early mammals were small, furry, and warm-blooded. Fossil evidence from sites in China, South Africa, and Europe reveals a surprising variety of forms, from shrew-like insectivores to gliders and burrowers. Some, like the multituberculates, developed specialized teeth for gnawing, while others, such as Repenomamus, grew large enough to prey on small dinosaurs. Adaptations for survival in a dinosaur-dominated world were numerous. Many Mesozoic mammals were nocturnal, as indicated by the structure of their eye sockets and inner ears. This nighttime activity helped them avoid diurnal predators and exploit ecological niches unavailable to larger animals. The evolution of fur provided insulation, while a high metabolic rate supported active lifestyles. Some mammals developed keen senses of smell and hearing, allowing them to detect food and danger in the dark. The diversity of Mesozoic mammals is often underestimated, overshadowed by the spectacular size and variety of dinosaurs. Yet, the fossil record reveals that mammals were quietly experimenting with a range of ecological roles and body plans. In the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, mammals evolved into forms that included climbers, diggers, swimmers, and gliders. Some, like Volaticotherium and Myopatagium, developed skin membranes for gliding between trees, a strategy that would later be seen in flying squirrels and colugos. Others, such as Castorocauda, were semi-aquatic, with webbed feet and a flattened tail adapted for swimming, traits reminiscent of modern otters. Burrowing mammals, like Frutophosor from the late Jurassic of North America, show adaptations for digging, including robust forelimbs and specialized teeth for eating insects. These animals likely spent much of their lives underground, safe from the attention of large predators. The ability to exploit subterranean environments provided a refuge and allowed mammals to persist through periods of environmental upheaval. The multituberculates, sometimes called the rodents of the Mesozoic, were among the most successful mammal groups of the era. Their distinctive teeth, with multiple rows of cusps, were well suited for processing seeds and plant material. Multituberculates ranged in size from mouse-like to rabbit-sized and occupied a variety of habitats. Their fossils are found across Eurasia and North America, indicating a wide geographic distribution. Despite their success, multituberculates eventually disappeared in the early Cenozoic, possibly outcompeted by the rise of true rodents. Reproductive strategies in Mesozoic mammals were as varied as their forms. Fossil evidence suggests that some species laid eggs, like modern monotremes, platypus and echidna, while others gave birth to live young, as seen in marsupials and placentals. The discovery of fossilized embryos and pregnant individuals provides direct evidence of these strategies. For example, the early Cretaceous mammal dietary diversity was another hallmark of Mesozoic mammals. While many were insectivores, feeding on beetles, ants, and other small invertebrates, others developed omnivorous or even carnivorous habits. Repenomamus, a large early Cretaceous mammal from China, is famous for fossils showing the remains of baby dinosaurs in its stomach, indicating active predation. The evolution of specialized teeth, incisors for gnawing, molars for grinding, and canines for piercing, allowed mammals to exploit a wide range of food sources. The sensory capabilities of Mesozoic mammals were advanced, supporting their nocturnal and crepuscular lifestyles. Enlarged olfactory bulbs and complex inner ear structures suggest acute hearing and smell, essential for navigating in darkness and detecting prey or predators. The evolution of fur not only provided insulation, but also enhanced tactile sensitivity, allowing mammals to sense their environment through whiskers and body hair. Social behavior in early mammals is difficult to reconstruct, but some evidence points to the possibility of group living and parental care. The presence of multiple individuals in burrows, as well as fossilized nests containing juveniles, suggests that some species may have lived in family groups or colonies. Parental investment, such as nursing and protection of young, would have increased survival rates in a world filled with dangers. The Mesozoic era was marked by dramatic environmental changes, including shifts in climate, sea level, and vegetation. Mammals responded to these challenges with remarkable adaptability. Their small size, rapid reproduction, and flexible diets allowed them to survive periods of drought, cold, and competition. The ability to hibernate or enter torpor may have helped some species endure harsh conditions, while others migrated or shifted habitats in response to changing resources. The end Cretaceous extinction, which wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs, was a turning point for mammals. While many groups disappeared, those that survived found themselves in a world transformed. The loss of large predators and competitors opened new ecological niches, allowing mammals to diversify and radiate into forms that would eventually include bats, whales, primates, and humans. The evolutionary groundwork laid during the Mesozoic set the stage for the Age of Mammals, a period of explosive innovation and expansion. Fossil discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of Mesozoic mammals. Sites in China, Mongolia, and South America have yielded exceptionally preserved specimens, including fur, soft tissues, and even traces of color. Advanced imaging techniques, such as synchrotron scanning and micro-CT, allow scientists to study the internal anatomy of fossils in unprecedented detail. These technologies have revealed the structure of brains, inner ears, and reproductive organs, providing new insights into the biology and behavior of ancient mammals. The story of the mammal underground is one of resilience and ingenuity. While dinosaurs ruled the surface, mammals carved out a living in the margins, underground, in trees, and in water. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and survive in a world of giants ensured their eventual success. Today, the legacy of these early mammals is seen in the diversity and complexity of the mammalian lineage, from the tiniest shrew to the largest whale. As paleontologists continue to explore the fossil record, the hidden history of Mesozoic mammals comes into sharper focus. Each new discovery adds depth to our understanding, revealing a world where small creatures played a big role in shaping the future of life on Earth. The mammal underground was not just a refuge, it was a crucible of evolution, where the seeds of modern biodiversity were sown. The rise of mammals during the Mesozoic was not a simple, linear progression, but a complex interplay of evolutionary experimentation, environmental pressures, and chance. As the age of dinosaurs unfolded, mammals diversified in ways that foreshadowed their later dominance, even as they remained largely in the ecological shadows. This part explores the evolutionary innovations, ecological roles, and survival strategies that defined the mammal underground, and how these small creatures set the stage for the Cenozoic explosion that followed the dinosaurs' demise. Mesozoic mammals were not just passive survivors, they were evolutionary pioneers. One of their most significant innovations was the development of differentiated teeth, incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, each specialized for different functions. This dental diversity allowed mammals to exploit a wide range of diets, from insects and seeds to small vertebrates and even plants. The evolution of precise occlusion, the way teeth fit together, enabled efficient processing of food, a key advantage over the more uniform teeth of their reptilian contemporaries. Another major innovation was the evolution of the middle ear. Early synapsids had a simple jaw joint, but over millions of years, bones from the jaw migrated to the middle ear, forming the three-bone structure, malleus, incus, and stapes, seen in modern mammals. This adaptation greatly enhanced hearing, especially for high-frequency sounds, and is thought to have been crucial for nocturnal life. The ability to detect subtle noises in the dark would have helped early mammals avoid predators and locate prey. Fur, another hallmark of mammals, provided insulation and may have played a role in sensory perception. Fossil evidence of fur impressions, as well as the presence of whisker pits in some skulls, suggests that tactile sensitivity was important for navigating complex environments. The combination of endothermy, warm-bloodedness, fur, and advanced hearing gave mammals a suite of adaptations that set them apart from other vertebrates of the time. Despite their small size, Mesozoic mammals occupied a variety of ecological niches. Some were insectivores, feeding on the abundant insects that flourished in the warm, humid climates of the Jurassic and Cretaceous. Others were omnivores or herbivores, consuming seeds, fruits, and leaves. The multituberculates, with their complex cheek teeth, were particularly successful at exploiting plant material, while the docodonts and eutriconodonts included both insectivorous and carnivorous forms. Predatory mammals, though rare, did exist. Repenomamus, for example, was a robust mammal from the early Cretaceous of China that reached lengths of over a meter. Fossils of Repenomamus have been found with the remains of juvenile dinosaurs in their stomachs, providing direct evidence of predation. This challenges the traditional view of Mesozoic mammals as exclusively small and harmless, revealing a more dynamic and competitive ecosystem. Some mammals adapted to life in the trees, developing grasping hands and feet, prehensile tails and gliding membranes. Velaticotherium, discovered in China, is one of the earliest known gliding mammals, with a patagium, skin membrane, stretching between its limbs. This adaptation allowed it to move efficiently between trees, avoiding ground-dwelling predators and accessing new food sources. Arboreal lifestyles would later become a hallmark of many mammalian lineages, including primates. Aquatic and semi-aquatic mammals also appeared during the Mesozoic. Castora cauda, from the Middle Jurassic of China, had webbed feet and a flattened tail, adaptations for swimming. Its teeth suggest a diet of fish and aquatic invertebrates, making it one of the earliest known mammals to exploit aquatic environments. These ecological experiments foreshadowed the later evolution of whales, seals, and otters. Surviving in a world dominated by dinosaurs required a suite of survival strategies. Nocturnality was one of the most important. The structure of the eye sockets and the size of the optic lobes in the brains of many Mesozoic mammals indicate adaptation to low-light conditions. Being active at night allowed mammals to avoid direct competition with diurnal dinosaurs and exploit food resources with less risk of predation. Burrowing was another key strategy. Fossils of mammals like Fruitifossa show adaptations for digging, including strong forelimbs and specialized claws. Burrows provided shelter from predators, temperature extremes, and environmental hazards. Some mammals may have lived in complex tunnel systems, similar to modern moles and rodents, creating microhabitats that supported diverse communities of invertebrates and plants. Rapid reproduction and short generation times also contributed to mammalian resilience. While dinosaurs often laid large clutches of eggs and invested heavily in a few offspring, many mammals produced multiple litters each year, with young that matured quickly. This reproductive strategy allowed mammal populations to recover rapidly from environmental disturbances and take advantage of new opportunities. Hibernation and torpor may have been used by some Mesozoic mammals to survive periods of food scarcity or extreme weather. Evidence from bone histology, such as growth rings indicating seasonal pauses in development, supports the idea that some species could slow their metabolism and wait out unfavorable conditions. This ability to enter a state of dormancy would have been especially valuable during the harsh winters. The relationship between mammals and dinosaurs was complex and multifaceted. While mammals were often prey for small and medium-sized theropods, they also competed with dinosaurs for food and space. Insectivorous mammals may have helped control insect populations, indirectly benefiting plant-eating dinosaurs by reducing herbivorous insect pressure. Conversely, the presence of large herbivores and predators would have shaped the distribution and behavior of mammal populations. Some mammals may have scavenged dinosaur carcasses, taking advantage of the remains left by larger predators. The discovery of mammal teeth marks on dinosaur bones supports this idea. In turn, mammals themselves were preyed upon by dinosaurs, as evidenced by coprolites, fossilized dung, containing mammal bones and teeth. The extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs at the end of the Cretaceous dramatically altered these relationships. With the disappearance of the dominant terrestrial vertebrates, mammals were free to expand into new ecological roles. The adaptive radiation that followed gave rise to the incredible diversity of mammals seen today, from bats and whales to elephants and primates. Recent fossil discoveries have revolutionized our understanding of Mesozoic mammals. The Jehol biota of northeastern China, in particular, has yielded exquisitely preserved specimens with fur, soft tissues, and even stomach contents. These fossils provide direct evidence of diet, behavior, and ecology, allowing paleontologists to reconstruct the lives of ancient mammals in unprecedented detail. Advanced imaging techniques, such as synchrotron radiation and micro-CT scanning, have made it possible to study the internal anatomy of fossils without damaging them. These methods have revealed the structure of brains, inner ears, and reproductive organs, shedding light on sensory capabilities, locomotion, and reproductive strategies. Isotopic analysis of teeth and bones provides information about diet, habitat, and migration, while molecular studies of ancient proteins and DNA, where available, offer glimpses into evolutionary relationships. The integration of paleontology, developmental biology, and genetics has deepened our understanding of mammalian evolution. Studies of gene expression in modern mammals help explain the origins of key traits such as fur, mammary glands, and live birth. Comparative genomics allows scientists to trace the evolutionary history of mammalian lineages, identifying the genetic changes that underlie major adaptations. The story of the mammal underground is one of persistence, innovation, and eventual triumph. While dinosaurs ruled the land, mammals adapted to the margins, developing the traits that would one day allow them to dominate the planet. Their small size, rapid reproduction, and ecological flexibility were key to their survival during the Mesozoic and their explosive radiation in the Cenozoic. Today, the descendants of these ancient mammals inhabit every corner of the globe, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. The evolutionary experiments of the Mesozoic laid the foundation for the diversity and complexity of modern mammals, including our own species. The mammal underground was not just a footnote in the age of dinosaurs, it was the crucible in which the future of life on Earth was forged. As paleontologists continue to uncover new fossils and apply cutting-edge technologies, the hidden history of Mesozoic mammals becomes ever clearer. Each discovery adds a new chapter to the story, revealing the remarkable adaptability and resilience of these small but mighty creatures. The mammal underground reminds us that even in the shadows of giants, innovation and survival can flourish, shaping the course of evolution for millions of years to come. In the final centuries of the Mesozoic, the world was a patchwork of shifting continents, rising mountains, and changing climates. Mammals, though still small and largely inconspicuous compared to the dinosaurs, were quietly diversifying and adapting to these dynamic environments. Their evolutionary journey was marked by a series of innovations that would ultimately prepare them for the opportunities and challenges of the post-dinosaur world. The landscape of the late Cretaceous was far from static. As the continents drifted apart, new coastlines formed, and vast inland seas appeared and disappeared. These changes created a mosaic of habitats, forests, floodplains, deserts, and polar regions, each with its own set of ecological pressures. Mammals responded with remarkable flexibility, evolving forms and behaviors suited to every niche. Some species became expert climbers, navigating the dense canopies of ancient forests in search of insects, fruit, and shelter. Their limbs grew longer and more dexterous, their tails more prehensile, and their senses sharper. Others took to the water, developing webbed feet, streamlined bodies, and waterproof fur to exploit rivers, lakes, and coastal environments. The fossil record from China and South America reveals mammals with adaptations for swimming and diving, foreshadowing the later evolution of whales and seals. Burrowing mammals continued to thrive, carving out subterranean worlds beneath the feet of dinosaurs. Their strong forelimbs, compact bodies, and specialized teeth allowed them to tunnel through soil and leaf litter, creating safe havens from predators and harsh weather. These underground refuges were more than just shelters. They were microhabitats that supported entire communities of insects, fungi, and other small animals. The ability to escape into the earth gave burrowing mammals a crucial advantage during periods of environmental stress, such as droughts, fires, and volcanic eruptions. The reproductive strategies of mammals were also evolving. While some species still laid eggs, others gave birth to live young, a trait that offered significant benefits in unpredictable environments. Live birth allowed mothers to protect and nourish their offspring until they were ready to face the outside world, increasing survival rates and enabling rapid population growth. Fossil evidence from the Cretaceous shows that some mammals were capable of extended gestation and parental care, behaviors that would become hallmarks of the group in the Cenozoic. Dietary specialization was another key to mammalian success. As flowering plants, angiosperms, spread across the globe, new food sources became available. Mammals with flexible jaws and diverse teeth could exploit seeds, fruits, nectar, and even the insects that pollinated these plants. The rise of angiosperms transformed ecosystems, creating opportunities for mammals to diversify and fill new roles. Some became seed dispersers, carrying fruits far from their parent plants and shaping the distribution of vegetation. Others evolved to feed on nectar, developing long tongues and specialized snouts for reaching deep into flowers. The sensory world of mammals was rich and complex. Their large brains, acute hearing, and sensitive noses allowed them to navigate in darkness, detect subtle changes in their environment, and communicate with one another. Whiskers provided tactile feedback, helping them explore tight spaces and avoid obstacles. The evolution of complex vocalizations and scent marking enabled mammals to establish territories, attract mates, and warn of danger. These behaviors laid the groundwork for the sophisticated social structures seen in many modern mammals. Sociality itself was on the rise. Fossilized burrows and nests containing multiple individuals suggest that some mammals lived in family groups or colonies, sharing resources and caring for young. Cooperative behaviors, such as grooming, food sharing, and group defense, may have increased survival rates and facilitated the spread of new adaptations. The roots of mammalian sociality run deep, connecting the ancient underground communities of the Mesozoic to the complex societies of primates, elephants, and cetaceans today. The end of the Cretaceous brought catastrophe. The asteroid impact and volcanic eruptions that marked the close of the era triggered mass extinctions, reshaping the biosphere in ways that would echo for millions of years. For mammals, the disaster was both a challenge and an opportunity. Many species perished, but those that survived found themselves in a world transformed. The extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs removed the dominant terrestrial competitors and predators, opening vast ecological space for mammals to expand and diversify. In the aftermath, mammals radiated into forms that would define the Cenozoic. Some grew larger, filling the niches left by the dinosaurs. Others became specialized for running, climbing, swimming, or flying. The evolutionary experiments of the Mesozoic, differentiated teeth, live birth, fur, nocturnality, sociality, became the foundation for the explosive diversification that followed. Within a few million years, mammals had spread across every continent, adapting to every environment from the Arctic tundra to tropical rainforests. The legacy of the mammal underground is visible in the diversity and adaptability of mammals today. The traits that allowed them to survive in the shadows of giants, flexibility, innovation, cooperation, remain central to their success. The story of their rise is a testament to the power of evolution to find solutions in the face of adversity, to persist through catastrophe, and to flourish when opportunity arises. Modern research continues to uncover new details about the lives of Mesozoic mammals. Advanced imaging and molecular techniques reveal the structure of ancient brains, the composition of fur, and the relationships between extinct and living species. Fossil sites in China, Mongolia, and South America yield specimens with soft tissues, stomach contents, and even traces of color, offering unprecedented glimpses into the biology and behavior of these ancient animals. Each discovery adds depth to our understanding, connecting the distant past to the present and illuminating the pathways of evolution. The mammal underground was not a place of stagnation or retreat, but a crucible of change. In the darkness beneath the forests and plains, mammals honed the skills and adaptations that would one day allow them to rule the world. Their story is one of quiet persistence, of innovation in the face of overwhelming odds, and of the enduring power of life to adapt and thrive. As we look back on the age of dinosaurs, it is clear that the true heirs of that era were not the giants above, but the small, resilient creatures below, whose legacy continues in every mammal alive today. The end of the Cretaceous marked not just the close of the age of dinosaurs, but the dawn of a new era. In the aftermath of the mass extinction, Earth was a changed planet. The skies, once filled with pterosaurs, now belonged to birds. The land, cleared of giant reptiles, became a stage for the rapid rise of mammals. The world after the dinosaurs was a place of both devastation and opportunity, a crucible in which the modern biosphere was forged. The immediate aftermath of the extinction was harsh. Wildfires, acid rain, and a nuclear winter of dust and soot blocked sunlight, plunging the planet into darkness and cold. Photosynthesis ground to a halt, collapsing food webs on land and in the sea. Many survivors were small, adaptable, and able to endure periods of scarcity. Mammals, birds, amphibians, and some reptiles found refuge in burrows, water, or dense vegetation, eking out an existence as the world slowly recovered. As the dust settled and sunlight returned, life began to rebound. Ferns and other hardy plants were among the first to recolonize the barren landscape, followed by shrubs and trees. With the disappearance of the dominant dinosaurs, ecological niches stood empty, waiting to be filled. Mammals, once confined to the shadows, began to diversify rapidly. Within a few million years, they had evolved into a dizzying array of forms: herbivores, carnivores, climbers, runners, swimmers, and flyers. The recovery of life after the end Cretaceous extinction was a slow and uneven process, shaped by the lingering effects of catastrophe and the opportunities created by the absence of the dinosaurs. In the first thousands of years, the world was dominated by plants that could quickly colonize disturbed soils: ferns, mosses, and hardy shrubs. These pioneers stabilized the land, restored the cycles of nutrients, and provided the foundation for the return of more complex ecosystems. As forests regrew and climates stabilized, the stage was set for the next great evolutionary radiation. Mammals, long relegated to the margins, seized the moment. Freed from the constraints of dinosaur competition and predation, they began to experiment with new forms and lifestyles. The fossil record from the Paleocene and Eocene epochs reveals a remarkable burst of innovation. Some mammals grew larger, filling the roles once held by giant herbivores and predators. Others became specialized for running, climbing, burrowing, or swimming. The diversity of body plans and ecological strategies exploded as mammals adapted to every available niche. One of the most dramatic changes was the evolution of new herbivores. In the absence of sauropods and hadrosaurs, mammals such as the pantodonts and winthathers became the dominant plant eaters. These animals developed massive bodies, columnar limbs, and specialized teeth for grinding tough vegetation. Their presence reshaped the landscape, influencing the growth and distribution of plants and the structure of entire ecosystems. The rise of large herbivores also drove the evolution of new predators: creodonts, mesonychids, and early carnivorans, each with their own adaptations for hunting and scavenging. The oceans, too, underwent a transformation. The extinction event had devastated marine life, wiping out the great mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, and many species of ammonites. In their place, new groups emerged. Marine mammals such as whales and seals evolved from land-dwelling ancestors and returned to the sea, developing streamlined bodies, flippers, and sophisticated echolocation. Sharks and bony fish diversified, filling the roles of top predators and grazers. Coral reefs, battered by the extinction, slowly recovered, providing habitats for a new generation of marine organisms. Birds, the only surviving dinosaurs, flourished in the New World. The earliest Paleogene birds were small and generalist, but they quickly radiated into a multitude of forms. Some became powerful flyers, soaring over continents and oceans. Others specialized in swimming, wading, or running. The evolution of songbirds, waterfowl, raptors, and parrots brought new sounds and behaviors to the skies. The ability to fly, combined with keen senses and complex social structures, allowed birds to exploit resources and environments unavailable to other animals. The plants themselves were changing. The spread of flowering plants, which had begun in the Cretaceous, accelerated in the Paleogene. Angiosperms diversified into trees, shrubs, grasses, and herbs, transforming landscapes and providing new food sources for animals. The coevolution of plants and pollinators, bees, butterflies, birds, and bats, created intricate webs of interaction, driving further diversification. The rise of grasses in particular paved the way for the evolution of grazing mammals and the open habitats that would later dominate much of the world. Climate played a crucial role in shaping the post-dinosaur world. The Paleocene and Eocene were marked by warm temperatures, high levels of carbon dioxide, and lush, tropical forests stretching across much of the globe. These conditions favored rapid evolution and dispersal as animals and plants moved into new regions and adapted to changing environments. Periods of cooling and drying, such as the Eocene-Oligocene transition, brought new challenges and opportunities, leading to the emergence of temperate forests, grasslands, and deserts. The recovery of life was not uniform. Some regions rebounded quickly, while others remained depauperate for millions of years. The legacy of the extinction was visible in the fossil record. Gaps in diversity, sudden appearances of new forms, and the persistence of disaster taxa that thrived in disturbed environments. The process of rebuilding ecosystems was shaped by chance, contingency, and the interplay of evolutionary forces. The rise of mammals was accompanied by the evolution of new behaviors and social structures. Parental care, sociality, and complex communication became increasingly important as animals navigated the challenges of finding food, avoiding predators, and raising young. The development of larger brains and more sophisticated sensory systems allowed mammals to exploit new resources and environments. The roots of intelligence, cooperation, and even culture can be traced to this period of rapid change and adaptation. The world after the dinosaurs was also a time of experimentation. Mammals evolved into forms that seem almost fantastical today. Giant horned herbivores, saber-toothed predators, trunked browsers, and armored diggers. Some lineages flourished for millions of years before disappearing, victims of changing climates, competition, or chance. Others gave rise to the ancestors of modern groups, setting the stage for the familiar fauna of the present. The transformation of the biosphere was not limited to animals and plants. The extinction event and its aftermath reshaped the cycles of carbon, nitrogen, and other elements, influencing the chemistry of the atmosphere and oceans. The burial of organic matter, the weathering of rocks, and the activity of microbes all played roles in stabilizing the planet and supporting the recovery of life. The interplay between biology and geology was crucial in creating the conditions for the next chapter of evolution. As the Cenozoic unfolded, the pace of change accelerated. The continents continued to drift, colliding and separating to form new mountains, basins, and coastlines. The rise of the Himalayas, the opening of the Atlantic, and the formation of the Great Rift Valley created new habitats and barriers, driving speciation and dispersal. The evolution of grasslands in the Miocene brought about the age of grazing mammals, horses, antelope, bison, and elephants, while the cooling of the Pleistocene set the stage for the rise. Humans too were part of this story. Our lineage emerged from the primates that diversified in the forests of the Paleogene and Neogene. The evolution of bipedalism, tool use, language, and culture was shaped by the same forces that drove the recovery and diversification of life after the dinosaurs. The legacy of the extinction is woven into our DNA, our behaviors, and our place in the natural world. The world after the dinosaurs is a testament to the resilience and creativity of life. From the ashes of catastrophe, new forms and ecosystems arose, each shaped by the interplay of chance, adaptation, and history. The age of mammals is not just a sequel to the age of dinosaurs. It is a new chapter filled with its own dramas, innovations, and mysteries. The story continues as life adapts to new challenges and opportunities, forging the future from the legacy of the past. As the Cenozoic era progressed, the tapestry of life on Earth became ever more intricate and dynamic. The initial burst of mammalian diversification after the extinction of the dinosaurs was just the beginning. Over tens of millions of years, mammals continued to evolve, adapt, and radiate into new forms, filling the planet with an astonishing array of species and ecological roles. The world was no longer dominated by a single group of giants, but by a multitude of lineages, each exploring different strategies for survival and success. In the forests, the descendants of early insectivorous mammals branched into primates, bats, and tree shrews. Primates, with their grasping hands, forward-facing eyes, and large brains, became masters of the arboreal realm. Their social structures grew more complex, with intricate hierarchies, communication systems, and even rudimentary cultures. Bats, meanwhile, took to the skies, evolving echolocation and diverse feeding habits that allowed them to exploit insects, fruit, nectar, and even blood. The ability to fly opened new dimensions of ecological opportunity, and bats became one of the most successful mammalian groups. On the ground, the evolution of grasslands in the Miocene epoch transformed the landscape and the animals that inhabited it. Grasses, with their tough, silica-rich leaves, required specialized teeth and digestive systems to process. Mammals responded with a suite of adaptations: high-crowned teeth, complex stomachs, and social behaviors suited to life in open habitats. Herds of horses, antelope, bison, and elephants roamed the plains, shaping the vegetation and influencing the movements of predators. The rise of grazing mammals drove the evolution of new carnivores: wolves, big cats, and hyenas, each with their own hunting strategies and social structures. The oceans too saw a revolution in mammalian life. Whales, descended from land-dwelling ancestors, became the largest animals to ever live. Their bodies grew streamlined and massive. Their senses adapted to the underwater world, and their social behaviors became increasingly sophisticated. Dolphins and porpoises evolved complex communication systems, cooperative hunting techniques, and even forms of play and problem-solving that rival those of primates. The return of mammals to the sea was a testament to the versatility and adaptability of the group. Throughout the Cenozoic, climate change was a constant force, shaping the distribution and evolution of life. Periods of warming and cooling, the advance and retreat of glaciers, and the shifting of continents created new challenges and opportunities. Some lineages flourished, while others disappeared, victims of changing environments or competition. The fossil record is filled with stories of rise and fall: giant ground sloths, saber-toothed cats, woolly mammoths, and countless others that once dominated their ecosystems but are now gone. The evolution of intelligence and sociality in mammals reached new heights. Elephants developed complex family structures, long-term memory, and even rituals around death. Cetaceans formed pods with intricate communication and cooperation. Primates, especially the great apes, displayed tool use, problem-solving, and cultural transmission of knowledge. These advances set the stage for the emergence of humans, whose impact on the planet would be unlike anything seen before. Human evolution was shaped by the same forces that drove the diversification of mammals after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The ability to adapt to changing environments, exploit new resources, and cooperate in groups allowed our ancestors to spread across the globe. The development of language, technology, and culture created new forms of social organization and interaction. The rise of agriculture, cities, and civilizations transformed the landscape and the biosphere, creating new challenges for both humans and the other species with which we share the planet. The legacy of the world after the dinosaurs is visible everywhere. The diversity of mammals, birds, plants, and ecosystems is a direct result of the evolutionary experiments and radiations that followed the mass extinction. The resilience of life, its ability to recover and innovate in the face of catastrophe, is a central theme in the history of the Earth. Each species, each adaptation, is a testament to the power of evolution to find solutions to the challenges of survival. Yet, the story is not one of unbroken progress. Extinctions have continued throughout the Cenozoic, driven by climate change, competition, and, more recently, human activity. The loss of species and habitats is a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of stewardship. The lessons of the past of recovery, adaptation, and resilience are more relevant than ever as we face the challenges of the present and the uncertainties of the future. The world after the dinosaurs is a world of complexity, beauty, and change. It is a world shaped by the interplay of chance and necessity, by the forces of geology and biology, by the actions of countless organisms over millions of years. It is a world that continues to evolve as new species arise and old ones disappear, as environments shift and adapt, as life finds new ways to flourish. The story is ongoing, and we are part of it, heirs to the legacy of the survivors, participants in the great drama of evolution. As the Cenozoic era unfolded, the interplay between life and environment became ever more pronounced. The continents, still on the move, collided and separated, raising new mountain ranges and opening fresh seaways. These geological changes altered wind and ocean currents, driving shifts in climate that rippled through ecosystems. Rainforests gave way to savannas, inland seas dried up, and ice sheets advanced and retreated across the poles. Each transformation brought new opportunities and challenges, and the living world responded with waves of adaptation, migration, and extinction. Mammals, now the dominant large animals on land, continued to diversify in response to these changes. In South America, isolated for much of the Cenozoic, unique lineages of mammals evolved. Giant ground sloths, armored glyptodonts, and predatory marsupials, unlike anything found elsewhere. When the Isthmus of Panama rose from the sea, connecting North and South America, a great interchange of species occurred. Armadillos, opossums, and porcupines moved north, while horses, bears, and cats moved south, reshaping the faunas of both continents in a matter of a few million years. Africa, too, was a crucible of innovation. As forests shrank and grasslands expanded, new forms of antelope, giraffes, elephants, and rhinoceroses appeared, each adapted to the open plains. The evolution of large, fast herbivores drove the rise of equally impressive predators, lions, cheetahs, and hyenas, whose speed, strength, and social strategies made them masters of the savanna. In Asia, mammoths and woolly rhinoceroses roamed the steppes, while in Australia, marsupials radiated into forms as diverse as kangaroos, wombats, and the fearsome marsupial lion. The oceans, meanwhile, teemed with life. Whales grew to immense sizes, some filter feeding on tiny plankton, others hunting seals and even other whales. Seals, sea lions, and walruses colonized the coasts, while manatees and dugongs grazed on underwater meadows. Coral reefs flourished in warm, shallow seas, supporting a riot of fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. The interplay between land and sea, predator and prey, plant and pollinator, created a web of life more intricate than anything that had come before. Amidst this flourishing, the climate continued to shift. The cooling trend that began in the Eocene led to the spread of grasslands and the retreat of forests. The Pleistocene epoch brought cycles of glaciation, with ice sheets advancing and retreating over much of the northern hemisphere. These ice ages shaped the evolution and distribution of countless species, driving migrations, extinctions, and the emergence of new forms. Mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed cats, and giant ground sloths thrived in the cold, only to vanish as the climate warmed and humans spread across the globe. The arrival of humans marked a new chapter in the story of life. Our ancestors, shaped by the challenges of the African savanna, brought with them fire, tools, language, and social bonds. As they spread into new lands, they encountered and sometimes hunted the great beasts of the Pleistocene. The causes of the megafaunal extinctions remain debated, but the impact of humans, through hunting, habitat alteration, and the introduction of new species, was profound. The world became a quieter place, with fewer giants and a new set of ecological rules. Yet, the legacy of the world after the dinosaurs endures. The diversity of mammals, birds, and flowering plants, the complexity of ecosystems, and the adaptability of life itself are all products of the evolutionary experiments that followed the end Cretaceous extinction. The resilience of life, its capacity to recover and innovate, is a central theme in the history of our planet. Each new discovery, each fossil unearthed, adds another thread to the tapestry, reminding us of the deep connections that bind all living things. Today, as we face our own era of rapid change, climate shifts, habitat loss, and a new wave of extinctions, the lessons of the past are more important than ever. The story of the world after the dinosaurs is not just a tale of survival and adaptation, but a reminder of the fragility and interconnectedness of life. It is a call to stewardship, to understanding, and to the recognition that we are both products and shapers of the ongoing evolutionary drama.